I thought we, unfortunately, with the loss, did a lot of really positive things tonight. I thought our defense was much better, coming out of the Sacramento game. We talked at halftime, and I was concerned. The fact I think they were 0 for 11 from the three-point line, that certainly wasn't going to continue. The third quarter, Steven had done such a great job kind of plugging up the lane, getting back, and he got sucked in a few times. So did Nerlens with the floor being spaced, and we gave them too many threes just in the quarter in terms of attempts. And then I thought in the fourth we got into a pretty good rhythm. But the other thing that really hurt us, I thought, was we fouled way too much in the quarter, and we had a lot of fouls that were not even like, fouls that were, at the basket or someone contesting a shot. It was like running into players. It was like post defense, grabbing a guy. We kept putting them to the free throw line. And then obviously, we didn't shoot the ball particularly well coming down the stretch. I thought we had some decent looks. But, we didn't do it, and they obviously shot the ball much better from three in the second half.
Billy, what needs to happen for you guys at the free throw line? I mean, I know it's probably something
I didn't even mention that. I mean, the fact that we left all those points. I mean, to me, all this stuff to me is just like self-imposed stuff that we've got to be able to figure out. When I say self-imposed, like, I think our guys are trying to move the ball. I think they're trying to play the right way on offense. I thought there was times where we got a little bit stagnant, but I still thought we generated pretty good stuff. But again, the free throw line is something we try to shoot free throws. We try to work on it, as best we can. But certainly that was a problem. And the other thing too is if you look at it, I think there was a drastic difference in the first half from the free throw line disparity between us and them. And then that totally flipped in the second half. And we did a really good job in that first half in so many different areas. And I give our guys a lot of credit when they made that run and they were knocking down threes, because you know what? Like, those same shots that they were taking in the first half didn't go in. So it wasn't like a big deal. And I told our guys, like, we got to be up and understand they're taking threes. And they went in the second half, and obviously it became a lot more glaring. But we compounded it with the fouls and the fact that we missed our own, number of free throws.
The last 4 minutes, I think you guys ended up with 1 point. A lot of that was three-pointers, a couple of long twos, not a whole lot going to the rim or at the basket on a night when they're calling a lot of fouls. Did you like the shots you were getting? What did you think of those shots?
I thought we had pretty good shots. There was a couple I maybe would have taken back. The shot that Russell took, I think, with 27 seconds. I told him if there may not be, because I thought they were going to switch, and what we had on, I thought we could get him in some space to either drive it or shoot it. And I said, you got to read how they're playing you. And I think he got off a pretty clean look on that one. But we didn't play downhill enough, in my opinion, in that 4 minutes like we should have. And that was for everybody.
Billy, y'all talked about in the offseason Russell working on the catch-and-shoot three. I think a majority of the ones he took tonight were the catch-and-shoot variety. I mean, kind of to go off of what Brett was talking about, are those the kinds of three-pointers that you want Russell taking in those situations?
Well, I think in fairness to Russell, and I think we all just need to understand, this is his second game back, okay? He's still trying to get his legs under him. I thought he played an exceptional game against Sacramento. But he took good shots on the catch and shoot. I think he's a very good catch and shoot three-point shooter in terms of getting those. And, we would like for him to take those. But I also think, too, one of the things you have to do as a player when you're in catch and shoot situations, you have to read the defense. Do I need to drive it? Do I need to shoot it? So, he got the ball kicked to him a couple times in some catch and shoots that didn't go in. And, I thought Paul had some opportunities, in some situations coming off some screening actions where he got some pretty good looks that he just didn't knock down. We didn't shoot free throws well. We've got to get better at putting the ball in the basket. But I think what ends up happening is with the way they're playing defense as the game wears on, they're more and more packing the lane where you got to take those shots.
Billy, I don't know if you even look at it this way, but in that first half with how they shot the ball, Do you feel like you missed an opportunity to be up even more in that first half in some regards?
Maybe a little bit. We had to weather that foul trouble with Russell at the end of the second quarter. I didn't think we closed the half very well. I mean, the last couple possessions, we were able to we did okay. Dennis made that shot to close the half out, but we didn't close the half great. We were up, I think it was 16 at the time, but I thought we were living dangerously in a lot of ways because, again, they went 0 for 11, and calling it like it is, I thought Tatum, I thought Horford, I thought Kyrie, I thought they had some pretty good looks. This happened to be all in one bunch. They missed them all. And then it kind of happened all in one bunch in the third quarter. They made them all. So, usually you see a game where, it's a couple here, a couple here, a couple here, and then all of a sudden at the end of three quarters. But it was like a barrage in one quarter. But we were also on the positive end in the first half with them going 0 for 11. And I knew that wasn't going to happen. And I talked to them about that at halftime, just saying, listen, we're going to have to guard the three. They're 0 for 11, and there's going to be more going up. And, obviously they made them in the second half, so credit to them.
Billy, when it comes to the shot that Russell took that you referenced, you're in the timeout, you call a timeout, you come out of it. I'm sure you have it drawn up the way that you want to, wanting to get Russell in space. But when you kind of hand it over to him, and he often takes those shots a lot, is there an inclination to try to kind of be more specific about what you want him to do, or are you just willing to live with it?
I am specific about what I want to do. My thing is, I said we don't need a three, and if they're up on top of you, you're going to have space to drive the ball to the basket because they're not going to want to foul. I had Paul lifted at the high slot. So I said, if you come off the Stevens pick and roll and they help, you got Paul there. But he came off, and I don't want to say that like there was nobody near him, but he got off a clean look. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't like this contested tough shot. He got off a clean look. And I think as a player, you've got to be able to make those decisions at that moment in time. And I understand it. It's like I said, I think before the game, it's a make or miss league in a lot of ways. And if he made it, what a great shot. That's unbelievable. Maybe we're going to overtime, maybe we're not. But it wasn't, I didn't think it was a terrible shot. But you can't it's really hard from a coaching perspective to tell a guy do this and you have no idea what the defense looks like. I mean, you talk about a lot of times as a coach, don't predetermine what you're going to do. So I can talk about how they're going to guard it, and I thought he would be open coming across, but I did tell him if we're getting pressure, don't feel like we got to force a three. There's 27 seconds. Get something going to the rim, and if they do allow us to quickly score, then the next thing is we're going to be in a position where we can maybe foul and maybe they miss a free throw, but we were out of timeouts at that point in time. So I wanted them to take the best shot that they felt was available.
One more.
Yep.
How do you guys kind of shake off the shock value of being 0-4 now? It's never happened in Oklahoma City to be 0-3. Now you're 0-4. Is that something that you look at it and it's difficult to kind of get over, or is it just kind of on to the next?
I don't know if I look at it that way. I look at it as a long season, as our team trying to evolve, and we've been through a lot. Not making excuses, but we've got Russell missing all training camp in the first two games. I mean, as quote unquote, I'm not saying that this is accurate, but according to you guys, we played two of the best teams in the East and the West the first four games. One of the games was on the road against, obviously, the Clippers, and then we played Sacramento, where I didn't think we defended very well. So I look at it more like, where are we going? Have we made improvements? I thought we were really, really poor defensively and especially rebounding against Sacramento. I thought we made some drastic improvements there and did actually a pretty good job defensively the whole entire game. We just didn't guard the three very well in that third quarter. So I look at, are we getting better in the areas we need to get better? We may not be getting the results, but two of the four teams we've played against, I mean, many people think that maybe Boston and Golden State are going to play against each other, in the finals. So, that I like, I've said this my first year, I like playing teams like that and like playing them early because we've gotten a chance to play against two of the best teams in the East and the West, and you get a gauge of where you're at. And we've competed well. Now, some of the stuff, do we need to make improvements? Have there been some self-inflicted wounds? Absolutely. But hopefully we can learn from those things and get better.
Last one.
What went into the decision to start Jeremy, and how do you think he did tonight?
It was just based on matchups. When I give Patrick's a total team guy. I knew that they were going to come out. They had started that way. I know they rested Hayward for a game, but they were going to come out and, play with 4 guards. And that's probably not the best or ideal matchup for Patrick. And we felt like we could do some different things schematically, defensively, with Jeremy at that power forward spot. And you know what? It was good to see Patrick knock in a couple shots and make a couple of good plays. I thought he had that one play at the end of the third quarter. He just didn't quite finish it, but he made a nice, bailed us out on a tough possession on a shot in the paint, made a 3. So he did some good things tonight, and I thought Jeremy did as well. So it was really, I think we're going to have to do that this year just based on matchups, lineups, what's going on, maybe tinkering and moving around and trying to, expand out the roster in terms of utilizing different guys in different situations.